Доната Курпас, доктор медицинских наук, профессор Государственного медицинского университета в Вроцлаве, Республика Польша. Как повысить компетентность преподавателя в подготовке статьи на английском языке для индексируемых журналов?
Мы немножко поменяем формат, мы будем сидя, в связи с тем, что технические вопросы могут возникнуть, поэтому я очень кратенько... У нас два микрофона, да, у нас есть два микрофона. Кратенькая преамбула, потому что сейчас это довольно актуально, ведь требования министерские, как бы необходимо нам написание этих статей, или Web and Science, или Scopus, а не везде, не всегда это можно сделать, потому что есть определенные требования самих журналов, которые просто не пропускают эти наши статьи. И профессор Доната Курпас хочет поделиться вот основными проблемами, как это можно обойти, то есть как мы можем подстроиться под требования, которые выдвигают эти журналы. И презентация будет на английском языке, однако я очень кратко скажу, что будет представлено, например, тот же самый стандарт Стробе, состоящий из 25 пунктов, и, надеюсь, презентация вы это увидите по-русски, которые, ну, без выполнения этих требований фактически редакция журнала будет просто отбрасывать эти статьи или направлять на переработку, а это всегда вызывает и психологический стресс, потому что нередко бывает так, что автор, увидев красным цветом расписанную свою статью, просто говорит: да ну и не буду я больше этим заниматься. А здесь как раз надо просто пройти вот эту вот границу и, ну, можно так сказать, смириться, не смириться с тем, что есть требования стандартные, которые необходимо выполнять. Это касается как так называемых обсервационных исследований или наблюдательных исследований, где мы не вмешиваемся в сам процесс, а только его изучаем. И это же касается исследований экспериментального характера. Ну, это больше, наверное, медицинские исследования, мы о них не будем говорить, потому что специфика вуза здесь больше, конечно, касается наблюдательных или обсервационных исследований. Вот. Это очень важно, поэтому, ну, это надо как-то учитывать. Поэтому профессор Доната Курпас на английском языке. Надеюсь, что будет презентация по-русски.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Andrzej. Thank you so much for invitation and congratulations on the content of this forum. So I already learned that you have several activities during lots of weeks. So I really believe your teachers and students will learn a lot during this.
Следующий, пожалуйста.
So I'm from this small part of the Europe, and Wrocław was located, my university, it's on the southwest of Poland, previously German part, the warmest one. Is the difference between temperature in Krasnoyarsk and Wrocław around 30-40 degrees just now.
Следующий слайд.
And this is what I focused on during last years and during my research. It's a relationship between health education and health promotion, and we focus mainly on primary healthcare patients. But in the context of the primary healthcare team, which consists of really general practitioners, nurses, midwives, physiotherapists, psychologists, dietitians, and depends on the structure and part of the country, this team can be smaller or larger.
Следующий слайд.
But it's not only about behaviors, because it's the top of the iceberg. What we really have to focus in the relationship with our patients is values, mindset, it's self-talk, it's beliefs of our patients, and then we can find really indicators which should be addressed in primary healthcare teams. And this is the most difficult things, because between each doctorand patient and between each subpopulation of chronically ill patients where we mainly base our research, it could be a bit different set of indicators.
Следующий слайд.
So you will learn during your studies that highest level of evidence is located with randomized clinical trials, but really when we are speaking about behavior and about primary health care, we cannot really perform very often such sophisticated trials. So we will focus on the observational studies. And here you have several really possibilities. It was the conference in Poland, in Opole in 2015, when we learned from Professor Christos Leonis from Crete in Greece how to structure each of the studies which you observe in this pyramid. And that it's one of the most difficult, but if you know how to do this, one of the simplest thing, because you have just questionnaires and you have checklists. And of course, not every study and project can be structured in this way, but it's the huge help, especially for early stage researchers. When you start your projects, when you try to publish your first paper, and when you start from the almost zero. So depends on the study, depends on the project previously. You will find checklists, flow diagrams, and the structure, which could be easily followed. And it will show you what is missing in your project and then in your article. And my advice would be, before you even will think about any project, just follow the checklist. Check what should be included in your research, and then prepare the first draft of the project. And I address this to both teachers and to students, because you will work in the team together. It's just a concept which is example of the feature for randomized clinical trials. I really do not work with such research, but it's just an example. And example of the checklist. And you have exactly showed in this checklist what should be included in your project, and then what you should address in your paper when you will prepare the first draft.
В дальнейшем это будет на русском языке, этот чек-лист представлен.
Of course, I will not go point by point. You can easily find this online, but it's just to show you how it could be addressed. Always, usually you find as well in the title of the article which kind of study it was.
Следующий слайд.
And you will also find a huge discussion which is just now going on. What is really the best option? Observational studies or randomized studies? And there's no simple answer like yes or no, because it all depends what you're really looking for and what you would like to find. So sometimes we were speaking about quality of life. It will be extremely difficult to have randomized control study. It is possible, but usually we will think about observational studies in this case. So this is why we more and more often are speaking that that we should speak about randomized control trials and observational studies as equal. All depends, once again, on the purpose of your study.
Следующий слайд.
So, those are, generally speaking, kinds of studies which are performed usually. On the right side, you have observational studies, which could be cohort study, case control study, or cross-sectional study. And once again, due to time limit, I will not go from one to the other, but it's just structure which you will meet very often and to which help you to memorize which studies about which point on the timeline of your project.
Следующий слайд.
Cohort study and case control study could be mistaken with each other, but we know how to difference one from the other. When we start with the disease and look for exposure, it's usually case control study. When we start with exposure and look for disease, it's cohort study. When it's good for a rare disease, we will think about case control. When we are addressing common disease associated with rare exposure, we will think about cohort study. When we think about recalling and selection biases, we think about case control, but when we think about longer follow-up and increased risk of dropout, we will think about cohort study. Of course, case control studies are less expensive and cohort studies are more expensive when we are thinking about the whole cost. So, depends on the selection of your subjects, depends on the project, depends on possible reasons for exclusions. Even within this observational study, you will have several categories. And when Andrzej mentioned this job, and when you will go to this job website, you will find a checklist which will address several categories of these observational studies. So it's again the example how you can categorize these observational studies, because then the reviewer, when you will send your paper to the usually it will be JCR journal, so it will be Web of Science journal, will ask why you didn't mention in methodology which project you already performed. Usually they even ask about including this in the title of your paper. So this is just information exactly from the website. Everything is online. You can download this checklist in PDF or in document and just complete this. And completing this checklist is extremely easy because you include just pages from your manuscript where all these sections are mentioned. But this will help you as well to include all information which will be needed and about which the reviewer sooner or later will ask during review process. So once again, we will not go point after point because the purpose of this presentation is just to increase your awareness and just show that such structure exists and that if you would like to publish with really higher impact factor, you should mainly focus on the structure. Of course, the project is the most important and what you really did at the beginning is the most important, but how you will show this is as well very important. It's just one example from the article where the structure was based on the scope checklist and on the flow diagram. And as you see, even in the abstract, it's mentioned which kind of observational study was performed during this project.
Следующий слайд.
It's the section with methods from the scope.
Следующий слайд.
The second part of the methods.
Следующий слайд.
The section with statistical methods.
Следующий.
And as well results. And always you have the questions, points, and quite broad explanation what should be included in this section.
Следующий слайд.
So let me finish with 7 tips for teachers, but in the same way for early stage researchers. And it's not really about methodology, because I'm sure together with your teachers you will organize the best projects ever. But just what we observed during working with our young researchers. Look for solutions, not look really for problems. Problems are everywhere. But your project should focus on solutions. Go together, so don't try to work as a single researcher. Your colleagues with similar interests, or maybe completely different, you can build multidisciplinary teams, and it will work for sure better than just single person with a single idea. Don't wait for tomorrow. Even the first draft of the project or the manuscript is better than nothing. Even always it's the most difficult to do the first step, right, Andrzej? And the second is always easier. And listen to reviewers. Don't be offended by them. They are, in majority of cases, are trying to help you improve your papers. And even if you will be rejected, and we know even with international project, we have papers rejected for 5, 6, 10 times even, and after 10 times we have finally it published. So listen, improve, and just follow advices. Look forward. So don't try to repeat what was already tested. Look for new ways, and again, don't stay just in one point. Look what will happen in 1, 2, 3 years. Believe in your team. Always you are stronger together. Again, do not try to work only single. And be a leader, not a follower. Look what was done, what you can complete. Where are empty spaces which you could complete with your research and projects? This is one example that you do not have to perform very sophisticated study to have the paper published with high impact factor. The methodology of this project was very simple. It was just the panel of experts, but it was international panel. It was around 10 countries, and we focus on frailty syndrome, which is really a hot topic just now, not only in Europe, but also in other continents. And we published this with 8 points of impact factor, which is extremely high. Majority of us are psychologists, family physicians, and occupational workers, not really researchers in laboratories. So it's possible. If somebody will tell you that you have to focus on laboratory only, and you cannot go to your population and just do quality of life studies to have published article with high impact factor, just do not believe. It's possible, and we are the best example.
Следующий слайд.
So I hope that your students will be not like this, and I hope you are still awake and alive in this room. Thank you for your attention.
Буквально два слова. Несколько раз появлялось понятие «клинический». Не пугайтесь этого слова. Любое обсервационное обследование, исследование можно рассматривать как клиническое. Подходы те же самые.
Доната, thank you very much. Андрей, спасибо вам за помощь, перевод и содействие. Уважаемые участники, к сожалению, время летит очень быстро, наши регламенты исчерпаны, и я видела заинтересованность, наверняка у вас есть вопросы и к Донате. Я думаю, что один вопрос можем мы все-таки задать.
Thank you. I would like to thank you very much for your research, and I've got a question about some tips for researchers. Well, the first one about leadership. Is it true, the statement which declares that some people are born to be leaders by their personalities, and other people are born to follow them? And another idea about working in a team. Is it true that when people work in a team on some project, they should distinguish their responsibilities so they would work effectively? Thanks.
Yeah, thank you for your question. Andrzej proposed that I will answer in Polish because we will translate quicker from Polish into Russian. Niektórzy są urodzonymi liderami, ale inni mogą zostać wytrenowani, żeby zostać świetnymi liderami. To jest umiejętność, której można się nauczyć.
Значит, лидер может рождаться, а чаще всего лидером становится. То есть он должен быть обучен быть лидером.
So you can be trained to be leader, but you can be born as a leader as well. Evidently, you are a leader. We didn't see many of other questions, so congratulations on your activity. And the second question, yes, when you will overlap each other during teamwork and you will not share your responsibilities, you will just stop each other from doing the better job. So always at the beginning we have to share responsibilities. Na początku zawsze musimy podzielić odpowiedzialność na członków zespołu, bo inaczej będziemy sobie przeszkadzać.
Перед тем, как начинать исследование, мы должны поделить как-то функции каждого исследователя, иначе мы друг другу просто будем мешать.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you very much.
Удовлетворены?
Yes.
Спасибо. Спасибо всем участникам и докладчикам. На этом пленарная дискуссия завершила свою работу, а форум продолжается. Работа по программе, по регламенту. Хорошего всем дня. До новых встреч.